will wake up, gonna wake up and realize it's not meant to be. You stumble in the darkness, you close your eyes, guided by the sweet song lullaby. But someday you will wake up, you will wake up from a life of fantasy. Wake up!
That should get you woken up. Thank you to Smash Into Pieces theme song for the Boomtown pod. That's what it is. It's all things MMA. I'm your host, Andrew Kahn. Of course, today is a special one, folks, because damn, I'm excited about this. I'll get into this right away. You see this fella on the screen. We're going to do some quick intros for you. But first, of course, this episode is sponsored by Stellar Gear, Sandman Boxing System, and Connexus Credit Union. And of course, like I said, we have a special guest co-host from the podcast Call Your Shot, Josh Elliot. Josh, how you doing?
Oh, I'm just dandy. I've had this this interview circled on my calendar once we knew about it, so I'm ready to get into it.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into the introduction. Our very special guest today from the Netflix documentary Untold. If you have not seen it, you're living under a rock. Crime and Penalties. He is the former owner of the Danbury Trashers and owner of Champs Boxing and Fitness out in Danbury. He is, of course, AJ Galante. What's going on, my friend?
How you guys doing? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Dude, we were super stoked about this. We've been talking, and I was like, who's the one guy that I can get in the entertainment world and the boxing world? And then I watched this documentary, and Josh and I looked at each other and went, we got to get him on here. We got to get him.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Now, obviously, we're going to get a little bit into it, but first and foremost, right off the bat, I was talking to AJ earlier for all the folks that are listening, and we got a giveaway announcement right off the get-go. So if you like, share, RT, or comment on our live feed today, I'm going to be doing a draw tonight for a Danbury Trasher signed sweaters courtesy of Mr. AJ Galante.
Oh yeah, they're going. They're selling like hotcakes, so it's going to be an exclusive there. So that's a big one.
So let's get into it, because I know obviously everybody is like, who's AJ Galante and who's the guy Nate wearing that Drake? Or why was Drake wearing his jersey? How did this happen?
Dude, super random, man. I mean, the documentary came out, I think it was Tuesday, August 31st. And yeah, the next day it was super random, bro. I mean, it was like literally one thing led to another, and I'm talking to Drake, which was the weirdest, like, most surreal thing, you know, in a long time that's happened to me. And really cool, humble guy, down to earth. He had like an album dropping, you know, a few days later, and he just wanted a Trasher jersey. He said he had watched the doc the night before, which was really cool to, you know, see that. And he obviously watched it because he was asking me questions, like, you know, he clearly watched it, which was cool. And you know, you just don't know who actually watches these things or not. So it's like just to know someone like him watched it was kind of cool, because I know how busy he is. But you know, he wanted a jersey, and thankfully I had one actually in my office as we speak. I had to break the frame and get it out of there, and I was able to get it over to him.
Threw a quick people's elbow on there, little reference for a little birthday party.
Yeah, well, man, if I hear about this birthday one more time, people love this damn birthday party, and yeah, man, it's you know, I wasn't thinking I should have people's elbowed it. That would have been a perfect little video clip, but no, I just I went old school with a hammer, so that's what we did.
I like it. Now, let's get right into it. Did you think the documentary would be like such a hit so fast? And were you happy with everything?
Well, the first thing is, yeah, I was definitely happy with it. I mean, you know, you just don't know. I mean, they filmed over 2 years ago now. So, you know, you almost forget, like, you know, I know I told the story 1,000 times, but, you know, you almost forget, like, what they asked you, what you said, you know, and it's kind of like, as the release date got closer, it's kind of nerve-wracking. It's kind of like, oh God, did I say something stupid 2 years ago? Or like that, you're kind of at their mercy with the production, but super accurate. They didn't really embellish anything, which is insane to think about, but they really didn't embellish anything. I was happy. I mean, obviously there's some things in there regarding my family that, you know, it's an unfortunate part of the story, but it's part of the story. You can't tell the story without it. So I think they were super fair with it. Yeah, I was really happy overall with the story. But as far as like, it's so surreal. I mean, this week I think it's a month since it's been out. I mean, I thought the attention would kind of die down at this point, and it really hasn't. Which man, it's just super humbling to me that it's still being talked about. So we'll see where it goes, man. It's insane.
All right, AJ. So you're 17 years old. Your dad tells you you're going to be running this hockey team. And you said in the doc, you started out, you have to get players for this, obviously. So you started out and you said, I had patterns and I was looking at stats and penalty minutes. And take us through this process of how you were able to start, getting these players or using NHL 04 or whatever it was, franchise mode. Take us through that process of starting out, getting those guys, specifically Gretzky, One Eye Willie and a couple of those other guys.
Yeah, I mean, especially that first season. I mean, it really was both seasons, but especially the first season, we had no contacts really. I mean, again, I mean, there's no social media. You can't just start Googling people. You can't start DMing people. It was pure luck. I mean, honestly, I was literally building a roster off like hockeydb.com. Seriously. I mean, that's literally like what a normal fan would do to like look at stats. That's what we were doing. And then, of course, you meet some players or, hockey's a big sport, but a small world. So everyone seems to know each other. So you start putting feelers out there and dude, it's crazy. Just one thing leads to another. You end up talking to somebody or, this guy's girlfriend's friends with this player's girlfriend, and you just figure a way. I mean, you just find a way to make it happen, bro. And, yeah, I mean, like some of the players like Gretzky, he was in our league the year before. So I was looking at like the media guide from the season before to kind of see like, okay, who's who, what's what, who's been doing this in this league. And, you try to look for guys who have been in that league because they're comfortable with that league for whatever the reason. So those are like, sure, you just look for, dude, it's crazy because they did this crazy like visual when I'm talking about the statistic part of things, and I'm like I'm in like this universe thing, and but that's how I felt, man. I was like floating around trying to figure things out, and you figure things out, man. It's really, I wish there was a more scientific way to explain it, but dude, we just winged it, and you just start putting things out there, and you throw it on the wall and see what sticks.
Shout out to you didn't get really mentioned in the doc, but shout out to John Nasty from Metal Lake. What a beauty he was.
Man, and I met him. So how I learned about him was the week after Wingfield got hurt that first season. I'm walking in the lobby, and this guy stops me, and he says, "Hey, listen, I'm an agent up in Canada, and I got this kid, I know you guys have a void now with Wingfield. I got a kid for you." So I'm like, yeah, sure. I gave him my card. He's like, I'm going to send you, he sent me a box of VHS tapes, right? So I get it like a few days later, and I stick it in. And I think John was playing with Bakersfield in the East Coast League at the time. And I'm putting them on, and I see this little midget running around, and just... a head, those like Halloween pumpkin heads, like he just had a big pumpkin head, and he had like these marathon fights. They were like 3 minutes long. He'd be taking 20 punches to give one, and you couldn't hurt him. His head was like a cement block. So, he was smiling. I mean, he had charisma. He had, the fans loved. I'm like, wow. So I called the guy up. I'm like, yeah, what do we got to do? And we made it happen. And man, he, it's unfortunate with the documentary being as short as it was that unfortunately you can't get to everyone. And it's a shame because John is he's a legend. He was a legend with us. He was a legend before, with, and after us.
He's a few hours away from where we live, so I had to kind of ask you about him.
He was the great guy.
Now, how hard was it to actually pull Brent Gretzky into a Danbury Trasher uniform?
I'll be honest with you. I remember when so we announced Gretzky first. That was our first announced player, but our first technical player that we signed in principle was Wingfield.
Right.
But as far as Brent goes, I'll be honest with you. I know when we saw the name in the media guide, I think he was playing with Port Huron at the time or something. And we were just like, dude, this is a no-brainer. Like, if we could bring this guy in, I mean, just, you know, and I'm sure he's dealt with it his whole life, but having that name, I mean, that's a selling point as it is. So I didn't personally deal with him in the beginning. I forget who it was, maybe my dad or T-Bone even, and we ended up getting him. So when we set up our April Fool's Day press conference to announce the team, which people weren't sure if it was for real or not, we kind of leaked it that we signed Gretzky and that Gretzky was going to be there. And people were like, what the hell is going on right now? You know what I mean? Like, it was like they want to believe you, but they don't. And then it's kind of like we're kind of insinuating Wayne, but it's not. So it's like we weren't technically lying, but, you know, it was just the whole thing was crazy. But that's how, you know, listen, where we're from, especially back then, it wasn't a hockey hotbed. So you had to bring attention to yourself one way or the other.
So now they kind of grace over the start of it in the documentary. Obviously, you make that big hit, which big hockey guys, beautiful hit. How bad was your injury? Kind of go to the extent of that, man, because obviously it was pretty damn severe for you to stop playing hockey at 17.
Yeah, it was horrible. You know, I grew up, you know, hockey was such a big part of my life, you know, growing up. I mean, again, we weren't located in a hockey hotbed. I don't think I was going pro, but I could have possibly played college. Like I was steady enough where I might have gotten some college looks locally, but, you know, I wasn't stupid. Like, I know my ceiling. If I could have gotten into college and played a little, I would have been ecstatic. But yeah, my senior year, I think it was the second game. You know, you see the hit. You know, I hit him. You know, I went down, and then you see me get up. But then the home video kind of shuts off. Basically, what happened was I went right back down. Like, I didn't feel any pain at the time. I don't know if it was adrenaline, but I went down, and I just couldn't. It was the weirdest feeling. I couldn't get myself up. And then all of a sudden, I like started feeling like you could almost feel like the swelling, like through my pads. Like I was like, oh, this is not good. And you know, I ended up, because we were a visiting team at the time, and the fans were all over me. So I didn't want to give them the satisfaction. So I actually got up and skated off, which was probably a stupid thing. And then when I got in the back, I took, you know, my knee was like all that fluid. It was disgusting. I don't want to make your viewers throw up, but it was ugly. And it was ugly. And you kind of know, like I'm on the way home. My dad actually drove me. He came to the game. You know, I didn't have to wait for the game to be over to take the bus. My dad drove me. You kind of know in your heart, hey, this isn't good. This is probably
Right.
gonna screw up the season here. So yeah, it was a tough time.
All right, I gotta ask, Tommy T-Bone Compostelo, is that what, like, it was his personality on the dock? Was that him? Like, give us kind of what he's all about. Have you kept into contact with him? What's he doing nowadays?
He texted me today. I mean, yeah, he lives 20 minutes from me. I talked to him. I mean, that is Tommy. I mean, that's Tommy. I mean, he's in the middle of opening a cigar lounge.
Oh,
so
Fitting.
It's
Fitting.
yeah, it's perfect. That was Tommy, man. I mean, and that was all of us. I mean, that's what's so funny about the documentary is the people who don't know, they kind of like, you know, sometimes when you see something on TV, you're like, all right, are these guys embellishing themselves or are they being presented in a different? That was Tommy. I mean, I don't even know what he was annoying me about earlier today. He was texting me about something. I didn't even get back to him yet. I've been so busy. But I'll text him later. But yeah, man, that was Tommy.
what's something that like maybe like he did to other teams that didn't really make the documentary? Because obviously there had to be a long list of
I was going to
other
ask
things
that.
happened.
What is the best prank that Tommy has
Yeah.
ever landed that wasn't on there?
God, I mean, and look, I don't want to put it all on him. I was in the mix a little bit allegedly with some of it. But I mean, dude, you know what I tell people? It's like, it was like a middle school sleepover, right? You know, you're in middle school, your hormones are going, you're all hopped up on Mountain Dew or soda or something, and you think of the stupidest things you can do. That's what we were doing. I mean, I always bring this one up because I'll admit I was physically there with him, allegedly. We ended up going to the grocery store here, and we bought a bunch of these like raw fish, like big fish. And it was like 2 days before whatever team was coming in for the weekend, and an anonymous person was able to get it in the visiting team's locker rooms, like heating vents. So I don't know if you could imagine like 3-day-old raw, stinky, disgusting fish in the heating vents of an ice arena can do. Again, I'd love to lie and embellish because it's not like anyone could prove it, but I won't lie. I do have confirmation one guy did throw up from it. I don't know if there was any more, but we were just super annoying. Like, hotel fire alarms would get pulled allegedly at 2 a.m. I mean, just stupid. Just dude, this is stupidest. Like, I think one time like opposing teams' jerseys somehow they all got like duct taped together. I mean, just stupid. Just like the dumbest things you could think of, big or small. We were doing something stupid.
That's a couple of inside guys, hey?
Allegedly. I don't know. I mean, I was up in the office. I don't know.
Of course, if you guys missed the announcement earlier, thank you for everybody who's tuning in so far. We've had a lot of feedback. Giveaway announcement, like I said, if you like, share, RT, or comment right now on our live feed, we are going to be doing a draw tonight, and the Danbury Trashers jerseys have been blowing up. Like, this thing is the most sought-after jersey. I can't believe the feedback that you guys have had. I've been paying attention to the Instagram and stuff like that. It's amazing. But you guys have the chance to win a jersey, courtesy of our guest right here. AJ Galante is going to sign it, and we might get Pops to sign it too.
Hey, listen, if I catch him in the right mood, I'll definitely get it. So that's no problem.
Well, speaking of Pops, Section 102, because they dive into it pretty nicely in the documentary, how fast did that become recognized as like the arena section?
What didn't make the documentary, and it kind of like I should have known then how great they were going to be overall, was our very first game, right? So again, in the doc, I'm talking about how nervous I was, and there was a lot going on, and so many things are going through your head. Usually with something like this, you start thinking what could go wrong, right? So literally during the singing of the national anthem, like we didn't have someone actually singing it that night. It was like it was played on the PA system. It just cut out like midway through. And it was just like, oh, this is like, so, it was just for like, first impressions are everything, So it's like, we had this new PA system and it goes out. Section 102 in unison started singing the rest of the anthem for us. You know what I mean? And it was like, it was one of those things where I'm like, wow, theyese guys and girls, they're this is going to be a special situation here. And, immediately. I mean, they made their presence known. I mean, they were literally part of the team. I mean, I would talk to them about like a wish list, like players they liked, didn't like, if we could try to, get them, you got to listen to the consumer, man. I mean, you got to listen to your fans. And there was a few times where actually Danny Stewart, who played with us in the second year, we signed him. Well, we traded for him midway through the second year. He was actually a fan request. I mean, they were like, oh, you got to get Danny Stewart. And I knew who Danny Stewart was. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's try. And we ended up getting him. So I think it's important. You got to listen to the fans. I mean, they're the ones coming. And, you can't give them too much power because we would have had a weird team. I mean, we had a weird team to begin with, but it could have gotten a lot weirder. But yeah, man, they were a big part of the team.
Yeah. So going to away games, like I played some pretty decent hockey where we play a home and home against a team, and the away teams fans, they catch wind of what happened going on in home games, and we go back to their place, and it just gets even more crazier. What was it like going to away games, and what was their fans like towards you guys?
You know what it was? The first year, I would say 3/4 of the first year, people just absolutely hated us, like with a passion. I mean,
shocker.
Like, yeah, right? I thought we had a great personality, so I don't know what the problem was. But, no, I mean, just total disgust for us. But something started towards the end of the first year. Something started happening where you could tell that they liked it, like what we were doing. Like you could tell that these guys and girls, these fans, like other teams, even the players, honestly, they liked it. They were like, okay, these guys, they back up the talk. Because I mean, before we even played a game, I'm out there on ESPN saying we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You know, I'm like this 17-year-old little punk kid, and I'm saying we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. So it's kind of like before we even did anything, we were boasting, and that obviously rubs people the wrong way, clearly, and understandably. But when we backed up everything we said, I mean, I think people slowly started to respect it. The second season, don't get me wrong, no one was hoping we were going to win, especially in their barn, you know what I mean? But people, they enjoyed it. It was like the circus coming to town. Like everyone likes a circus, right? So
It was almost like LeBron was coming to town. We might as well get some tickets, right?
Exactly. I mean, it was almost like we were like, I'm not just saying this, I believe we were the highest grossing visiting team. So when we would go to arenas, if they weren't selling out, it was pretty close. And, you know, they listen, you know, we were doing our thing, and people, I think they were slowly understanding, and I think they respected the hustle. I think they respected the grind, and you know, I think the players liked it too.
I was going to ask you the question because, I mean, it's so very vividly in the documentary, just kind of like a name. But how in the hell did you get John Cena to come to Danbury?
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with that one, unfortunately. But I felt like a week before, our play-by-play announcer who also did like our media relations and stuff, Phil, he called me. I was in school. He's like, hey, because he knows I'm a huge wrestling fan. He goes, hey, we're running a WWE night promotion next week. And I was just like, all right, cool. You know, that's cool. I love wrestling. And then like a few days later, it was like, yeah, John Cena's going to be here. And I was like, what? I was like, that's random. So I guess what happened was whenever the game was, WWE was in Connecticut for a tour, and John Cena was like the U.S. champion at the time. He had that like spinner belt thing, and it was leading up to WrestleMania that year. Anyway, long story short, I found out a few days later that he was going to be there, and dude, such a humble, cool guy. I mean, he watched like 2 full periods with us, and he came and dropped the puck. He did like in between the first and second period, he did like this entertainment promotion thing. It was crazy. He was really cool guy, and it was. I got his jersey somewhere, and I gotta find it. I was telling my mother, I'm like, where did we put that John Cena jersey? And I have it somewhere. I'm gonna find it.
That's legendary status. You kind of alluded to it with Section 102 and giving you players that they were listening to you and saying that they would love to see in a Danbury Trash uniform. And before we jumped on, you brought up some names. What were some names that AJ Galante wanted to bring onto this Trasher squad?
Oh, man, just like, especially the first year with the lockout. Look, my job is to try to put the best team possible. So, listen, if NHL players are available, I mean, you gotta go with you gotta explore. I mean, the worst thing they could say is no. So I mean, I really though I went a little overboard. Like it was literally like I said, it was like a video game fantasy lineup. You know what I mean? We came close to Donald Brashear, Georges Larac, Sean Avery. I mean, if like 50% of those guys came, it would have been insanity. But we missed out on a few. But like I said, we had Mike Rupp, which was a huge player for us. I mean, and played hard, by the way. He wasn't just coasting. He played hard for us. And but yeah, man, you got to go for it.
So did you ever, like after the Danbury transfers were done, did you ever get approached by any other hockey clubs, hockey teams that come on as a president or GM? Because obviously what you did in Danbury was unbelievable. Like you built a pretty good team considering you were 17 years old.
A nearly championship built team.
Yeah. So did you ever get approached to continue on?
It's so funny. So many people have asked me that, and the answer is no. I mean, I never was approached by anyone. I don't think people wanted to touch us anyway back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The NHL wasn't too happy with what we were doing anyway. But no, I never got approached, to be honest with you. And honestly, after everything that went down towards the end there, I don't know if I would have been able to do it anyway. I think I did an okay job, but I think I've always put myself as a product of my team, and between having my father, between having other people associated with us, who knows? Maybe it was just a collective effort. I think it was. So I don't know. Maybe that magic wouldn't have been there anymore. Who knows?
Man, I think you could literally be the next Vince McMahon. Just the way you do things is absolutely incredible, man.
That's a hero of mine. Hero Vince McMahon, and that's a hero of mine. I would absolutely love to follow in those footsteps for sure.
All right, so for people that don't maybe know about your story, you've obviously transitioned from that hockey thing that was many of moons ago, and then
Actually,
go ahead.
If you don't mind, I got 2 more lightning round questions about the hockey.
Let's go. Let's lightning it out.
We're into boxing. Lightning round here. 1, was there ever a direct line phone from your dad's box down to the bench? And 2, was the night that Brad Winfield broke his leg, who was operating the camera? Why did the feed get cut off? And was that person fired?
Well, the first question was, yes, I did hear rumors of Nextel phones being planted on both sides of the bench. I can confirm that there was communications. I don't know if they were directly phone calls. I mean, the Nextels had those bleep, bleep, walkie-talkie type things. So I can confirm those rumors of the Nextel. Subsequently, we got fined for that, and we weren't allowed to do that anymore. So, you find ways around things. Yeah. But as far as Wingfield goes, so the feed cut out with his return game against Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
And so basically,
yes.
Yeah. So basically, long story short, every team in the league had to have, a set camera, after every single game. I remember the process. We literally took the DVD out, and you have to report it to the, the league. If it's a clean game, it doesn't matter. If there's incidents, they get to review it. It was the weirdest thing because we never had technical issues ever until that night. And then it was like right before the Wingfield incident, it just cut off. And it's like, it sucked because I really wanted to let the league see what was going on so they could kind of review it, but they had nothing. And I don't know. I don't know who was in charge that night, or technically maybe you had some mice biting at the wire. I mean, there might have been some rodents biting the wires to the camera. I don't know. It was just a very weird thing.
Was it the team's obligation to have it recorded, or was it the league?
It was us. So we were in charge of that camera. And like I said, 2 full seasons. Other than that night, we never had an issue. So I don't know. It could have been a rogue rodent or something that was biting the wires. I don't know. It was very strange.
Very strange.
No, that's hilarious. Now, of course, one of those things that kind of gets skipped in the documentary. Now, I'm sure you guys could probably have done a full season or a couple of episodes on the Danbury Trashers. The brothers, what were they? Were they as goofy as they seemed when they were on that as well?
That was literally them. Like when they were taping here in Danbury a few years ago, when Netflix came in, they flew them into Danbury. They actually interviewed them, at the ice arena.
Right.
That was the first time I had seen them in 12, 13 years. And dude, it was like nothing changed. That was literally like they would bicker. The only time we ever had teammate issues in those 2 seasons were the brothers. and Mike the Little, and literally like Mike the littler one, who's the older brother, but he's smaller. Oh my God. Always needling Drew. Needling him. The only time we ever had teammate beefs were the 2 brothers. And but I tell you what, though, in all seriousness, when they got onto the ice, there was a switch, and they it's crazy. They didn't play on the same line because it was like a novelty thing to do for brothers. They literally were so in sync. It was crazy. It was like they were like twins, but they weren't. And Drew, if you look at their stats, I mean, Drew was a sniper, bro. I mean, he had almost 50 goals that year, that regular season. Mike was a guy that, firecracker. He could do anything, stir it up. He was a really good passer, had a lot of assists. He could score his own. He was one of the best, shootout guys. I mean, he had a nasty breakaway. But But yeah, off the ice, that was them. Like I said, it was so crazy how watching the doc, it was like nothing changed in 16, 17 years for any of us, really.
That's so unbelievable. So again, one more time when we still have AJ on here. If you've missed the announcement earlier in the podcast, or if you're just joining us, one last time I'm going to make this announcement. We do have a giveaway for you guys. This is pretty cool because these jerseys are the hottest commodity on the market right now. And I know that there's a special announcement coming out later on tonight that AJ is going to drop for everybody. So make sure you're tuning into their socials. But we are going to be giving away a 17 AJ Galante jersey. So this is pretty sweet. It's going to be signed by him and the Pops. All you have to do is like, retweet, and or comment on this. We've had a couple people being like, give me the jersey so far. And like, I mean, it's a pretty sought after jersey. I have a friend in town who just ordered one too, and he's so hyped about it. So
yeah, it's crazy to me. I mean, never in a million years would I ever think. See, the jersey that Drake wore, the jersey that I had, that was technically the first Trasher jersey ever made, a prototype. And they made it for me at the time. We didn't have players, and 17 was, first of all, that was my hockey number, and two, that was the age I, you know, was with the team. So it's just super crazy that people have been wanting to buy this jersey. It's insane to me.
How many like rough estimate jerseys have you guys sold so far?
Oh God, the 17 one, we did a pre-sale for a few days. We're pushing 1,000 jerseys. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. And I don't even know what to say about it. It's just, you know, we teamed up with Andy Sutton's company, Verbero Hockey. They've been awesome, you know, and we just been pushing it. It's crazy.
Well, like I said, some people might not know this about you, but of course, like I said, after the documentary was done, 2005, 2006 was the last season, obviously. That's some time ago. So now we go into the future now. We're champs boxing and fitness. Now, for me, of course, I like to cover the sport. Have you always loved boxing, and why did you open Champs Boxing and Fitness in Danbury?
Other than the time where Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear, I didn't watch boxing growing up. I wasn't a boxing fan. I knew nothing about boxing. It was so eerily similar to running the Trashers when I got approached about 10 and a half years ago now to get into boxing. It was so weird because I had an opportunity to work with a fighter. And again, nothing. I couldn't tell you a thing about boxing. And look, man, I mean, everything I've ever done has been so random. Like everything I've ever done, I've had no preparation for. Literally, like it's not like I went to law school to be a lawyer. Like I literally just do things. And it's super random. So why I got into boxing, I think stars were just aligned. And as I got into it, slowly but surely, I started seeing like eerie similarities to like things that I used to do with the team, or, you know, and it filled a void for me. You know what I mean? And I just stuck with it. It's been 10 and a half years now. The gym is 6.5 years old now. We work with so many pros, amateurs, regular clients just looking to train. And, you know, I got a great training staff, a bunch of young up-and-coming boxers, and it's just crazy. But, no, I had no intentions of – I mean, I knew nothing about boxing, nothing. But I also knew nothing about running a hockey team. And again, I took similar things I learned. You know, I put a team around me, obviously, and you know, you just learn as you go. Sometimes that's the best way to do it.
So now, what's your role? Like, I know obviously you own the gym or whatever, but are you promoting, or are you managing more, or what's kind of the role you have?
Honestly, it's like I don't know what my job description would be in terms of like a title. I literally, the main thing I do is I advise the fighters. I manage them. So, you know, I put together everything from setting up, you know, fights for them with the promoters, doing marketing for them, setting up their physicals, you know, babysitting them half the time, you know, working with their trainers, getting, you know, sparring. I mean, just a little bit of everything. You know, I'm in the trenches with them, and, you know, I'm in the gym every day. Anywhere I could fill my role, you know, be an asset to the, you know, a team. That's what I look to do. I have promoted. I threw a professional show in Danbury back in 2015. I throw amateur shows. I'm probably going to get back in the professional mix with the promoting next year again, but a little bit of everything, honestly.
Nice.
Now, of course, we spoke a little bit about it, but you have some pro fighters in your gym, which brings me to our next point. Mike Marshall is going to be taking on Victor Victoris October 9th. And this is actually, if you guys don't know where this card is on, this is probably one of the biggest boxing cards in the last 3 to 4 years for sure. Fury and Wilder 3. Now, obviously, this was a contract-obligated card that had to happen. It was mandated by the Boxing Commission in the States, so this is huge. And your guy, Mike Marshall, is going to be on it. How exciting is this for you, man?
It's awesome, man. I mean, it's funny because I met Mike a few years, maybe like 6 years ago. I used to manage a kid out of Brooklyn, New York, and I would go down there on weekends to see him. And Mike at the time was like 170 pounds soaking wet. He was an amateur at the time, and we always got along. And then he moved. He met a girl in Danbury and just walked into my gym like 4 years ago. I was like, "What the hell are you doing here?" You know what I mean? And he's the current New England heavyweight champ. He's been on a streak right now, and this is a tough fight. But this is why you do what we do. You know, you got to take calculated risks, and it's going to be a tough fight. This kid Vic Chris is a up and coming prospect, tough, big amateur career, but we feel good. We feel good about our chances. And Mike's a dog. He's coming to fight. He's going to be wearing like Trasher themed trunks, so he's hopefully we'll have a little bit of that bad boy magic rub off on him, and you know, we're excited. It'll be my first time in Vegas. I've never been there before, so you know, it's boxing in Vegas is big. So we're hoping for a good night.
Yeah, I saw the Trasher. I guess was it the promo type shorts that you guys were thinking about releasing? Well, go into that a little bit. I like those.
So yeah, I mean, Mike told me a few weeks ago. He's like, I want to wear like, you know, because picking out a guy's outfit is like a big thing for these guys, and I actually like doing it with them. I like designing it. You know, I just, you know, it's one of those little guilty pleasures. And he said to me, he's like, I want to do, you know, I want to do a Trasher themed, you know, outfit. So we got him a jersey, you know, with his nickname on it and stuff. And you know, we got some suppliers that help us vendors with the trunks. And yeah, man, hopefully, you know, hopefully it rubs off and we have a good night.
So who are you picking in the main event? Obviously, Fury has steamrolled him. Wilder looks like he's on the revenge tour. We don't know. He looks mean. He looks hungry in this. Who do you got, man?
You know, 6 months ago, I said Fury. Fury's the better boxer. Usually with rematches, especially, the better boxer will just make it look easier every time.
Right.
But I don't know, man. Wilder, he's looking, you know, it's so tough. You just don't know. And I know firsthand, you know, dealing with training camps, like a lot of the public doesn't know what goes on behind closed doors. You know, I've had training camps where guys are having marital problems or guys are having this problem or the opposite. They're doing really, that plays a huge role, you know, for the fight. So there's so many unknowns that none of us, unless we're in that camp, know. I don't know, man. I'm gonna still go with Fury. I hope he's not getting too cocky because Wilder definitely he's looking like he's on a mission, man. I don't know, but my gut is telling me you got to go with the better boxer, and you know, I'm gonna go with Fury.
I gotta ask you before we're done here. We just had Anthony Joshua versus Usyk this past weekend here. What are your thoughts on that? On Anthony Joshua finally getting defeated? I personally thought for sure it's about time Joshua has been exposed. I think he's overrated. But what do you think about that?
Usyk, you know, honestly, everyone in the gym here picked Usyk, you know, a month ago. You know, Usyk is just those Ukrainians or where, you know, those Europeans out there, man. They it's a different world. Joshua, man, I mean, he's a good fighter. He definitely got some hype behind him. I hate using the word overrated, but I do agree. I think he's been hyped up a little. But sometimes a loss is the best thing that happen to a guy. You know, I got a young prospect out of here, Omar Bordeaux. He's a 135, 140 pounder. when he took his first loss a few fights ago, he's 11-1 right now. Sometimes you like to see a loss because you're going to see what these guys are really made of. You know, some guys, they want to go that Mayweather route. They think they have to be undefeated. They don't want to take any risks. You see a lot when a guy loses. So I think it's exciting that Joshua took a loss because, number one, it should humble his promotion, okay, in terms of making fights. You know what I mean? Like, we got to be a little humble now. And two, you're going to see what he's about. We're going to see if he makes adjustments, if he's willing to make adjustments, if he can make adjustments. Some guys can't. So now I'm excited as ever to see him fight again with a loss. See, most people get the opposite. Oh, he lost. He's like, damn, it's good. I like it because now we're going to see what he's really made of. And I think his next fight is going to be must see because we're going to see if he's really got it or he was really a fluff job.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the fight that they really wanted to see, obviously, if Joshua would have won this fight, would be the winner. Whoever faces this next opponent would have been either, Wilder or Fury. And I think a lot of people wanted to see Joshua and Fury for quite some time now. And obviously, I don't think, honestly, I just think sometimes you got the names, but I don't think we're ever going to get the matchups, right? Like, it's like GSP and Habib and MMA. Everybody always wanted it, but it's never going to happen.
That's what's wrong with boxing is, they want these fights to marinate, leave them marinating for chefs. You know what I'm saying? Like, let these guys fight. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I get it from a business standpoint. I've been involved with decisions where maybe you wait on something, but sometimes these guys, they take it too far. You know what I mean? And I still want to see that fight. But there's a lot of people out there now because this guy took a loss, they don't want to see it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm a Yankee fan. If the Yankees lose, I still want to see him play the Red Sox, right? I mean, I don't care. I mean, the world of combat sports is very odd, bro. I got to be honest with you. And we do it to ourselves. I mean, we have the combat sports world has no one to blame but themselves for what's going on. And the networks, everyone is falling in love with that undefeated versus undefeated thing, right? Someone's all must go. I mean, dude, I can name you prospects that are 20-0, that if they fought a guy from Philadelphia who's 4-8, that guy who's 4-8 is going to watch this kid. Right. So it's all mental, man. I mean, the combat sports world is insane, but yeah, man, they wait too long for fights, and then when it's impossible, now they don't want it. It's like dealing with women. It's never enough, man.
I love that you quoted that you are a Yankee fan because for the time being, we love you and we're grateful that you came on this podcast, but we are diehard Blue Jay fans. So
we got a big series coming up.
You guys are going to get it this week for sure.
Do we make a friendly wager on this, AJ?
let's whatever you want to do. Well, I'll bet another jersey. Let's do another jersey.
All right.
And you guys get me you know what? I don't even want anything. You guys are going to have to go on live and say that the New York Yankees are the best team in sports. That's all. We'll do that. Right. A jersey for that proclamation.
You heard it first. It's an over the phone friendly handshake there gesture that works perfect for me.
Perfect.
So there you go. You guys have it. If the Blue Jays win, AJ's going to send us another jersey, which is absolutely awesome.
Well, wait a minute. So it's a 3 or 4 game series. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
3.
All right. So whoever wins the series, I'm not going just on tonight.
We're going series
tonight. 3 best at it. All right, fine. I'm gonna write this down. I'm a man of my word.
Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. No, man, this has been absolutely like one of the coolest things that we've got to experience. Josh and I actually, the first time this documentary, well, the Untold series in general, we had been talking about it because there's so many good ones in that Netflix Untold series. And then when yours came out, we literally had just gotten back from Texas and we both text each other at the same time. We're like, yo, did you watch this documentary? Because this is the wildest shit we've ever seen. Like,
and I was so nervous because we were like number 4 in the lineup, and they were releasing them weekly. And it's like, you had Malice in the Palace, which was unbelievable. You had Christy Martin, who I know personally, that was unbelievable. Even the Caitlyn Jenner one, Bruce, whatever, that was good too.
And you know what?
I'm just like, oh God, these are so good. And then it's us, and it's like, you don't want to, you want to keep the train going. You don't want to be the one doc that just, slows the momentum. So
they were all really, really well done. And actually, other than the Danbury Trashers one, my second favorite is the Marty Fish one that came out.
Yeah.
Later. That one's actually very, very good. Well
Very
done.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they did amazing on all 5. So I was happy for the whole series.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
I was very like,
just quickly, how's your dad doing?
My dad's doing good. I mean, he's I don't know what battery he runs on, but I wish I had it. I mean, he's gonna be 69 in January. He's still up 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, gets to work, and he's just an animal, man. I mean, he's not gonna stop. I tell him like that, take a day off, and he's just not gonna do it. He's just he's a different breed, that's for sure. He makes me look bad, but it's okay.
Well, it's good to know he's doing well, though.
no, dads have this tendency to make us look bad. It happens all the time.
Oh yeah, no, he works circles around me, that's for sure. But you know what? He doesn't understand though. I'm always working with this stupid phone. It's nonstop. You know what I mean? He clocks out and he kind of clocks out. So I always try to give it to him like that, but that doesn't mean anything to him.
No, man, this honestly was an absolute pleasure for us, an absolute treat, man. Like you said, you have one of the busiest schedules, and the fact that we were even able to get you in here, I was like, I reached out to you and I was like, oh, I hope this works. But
Hey,
I was glad you answered, man.
No, like I said, man, this whole thing's been super humbling, and anyone that I try to make time for everyone. You know what I mean? Because I'm just a regular guy, and I just want to, I appreciate everyone who shows love for the doc and interested in the team and keeping this thing going. So I appreciate you guys.
It was cool to pick your brain a little bit about some boxing as well. So that was kind of a cool part.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to hearing you guys claim the Yankees are the best team in sports. I cannot wait.
You heard it
so
here.
I'll expect that Friday by 2, about this time on Friday. I'll expect it then.
Okay, well, if that happens, if that happens, I just want to say the Jays are favored -130 money line, no big deal. At home, no big deal. We're just going to go with it, and if it happens, and I will go on all socials, I will make a quick video and say it out loud, even though it will pain me.
Well, listen, unfortunately as well. Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm excited, and like I said, I'm excited to hear who wins this contest. And if they want a personalized message, just let me know. And people are sending me all sorts of funny stuff to say on the jersey. So as long as it's not something super weird, I'll write anything on the jersey. I don't care.
I was going to ask you, have you had some weird stuff asked?
Oh, dude, I don't even want to go there. I write people back. I'm like, dude, that's weird. I'm not writing that. So as long as it's not super weird, and I'm pretty lenient, but as long as it's not super, super strange, I'll write whatever, You want me to write Yankees #1? That's fine too. I might just do that on the extra jersey if I have to.
Might have to write Blue Jays are #1 on there.
#1. Nonetheless, man, thank you so much again, AJ, for taking your time. You can follow him on the Instagram at DB Trashers, Twitter, DB Trashers, Facebook, Danbury Trashers, and of course, Champ Boxing Club and Fitness. But before you go, because we talked about the little bit of the Canadian love earlier, we were kind of talking before this podcast started, and there was a certain jersey that was hanging in your office, and I feel like we have a lot of Oiler and Canadian fans. I want you to show these people this.
My buddy Georges Larac sent this for me, and it's a treasure, man. He was a guy I always used to trade onto the New Jersey Devils on video games to be my enforcer, and I tried to get him in 04 with the Trashers. So we connected a few weeks ago, and man, it was like surreal. He sent me a picture too, and man, I'm still a fan at heart. So it's like it's super cool.
Well, that's it for me, man. I want to say thank you so much. Josh, any words?
No, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate being able to pick your mind about the doc as well as some boxing. It's been so much fun. Thanks a lot, dude.
Anytime, fellas. I appreciate the time.
Looking forward to that bet.
Just remember.
Let's go Yanks. Little Vlad's got nothing tonight. I'm telling you.
All right. Well, go Jays, go. Thanks, AJ. Appreciate it, man.
Go Yanks. See you guys.